Welcome to Coast Customer Success in Practice. Hi, everybody. I'm Catalina, and I'm with my co-host, Tamara, along with a very special guest, Dr. La-Toya Facey-Walker. And we're here today to talk about sales and success.
Yes, we are so excited. La-Toya is one of our coworkers, but she's also someone that Catalina and I identified as someone we very much respect in the sales space. She has a lot of knowledge and experience. She's been doing this for several years and comes to it with a really great collaborative approach when working with customer success. So La-Toya, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, Tam and Kat. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on the podcast today. And just to tell you a little bit about myself. So yes, I'm Dr. La-Toya Facey-Walker. I'm a regional sales manager at an edtech company. And like Tam and Kat said, I am their coworker. I'm based in sunny South Florida. And prior to my work here in our edtech space, I was a district administrator, teacher, district coach, just worked in a brick and mortar school system for over 18 years. So similar to what you said, I come with a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just happy to be a part of this conversation today.
Awesome. Now, let's start off. We have a few questions to ask you today as we think about the collaboration between sales and customer success. So, first question for you. What's one thing that makes a sales to CS handoff go really, really well?
I would definitely say communication. From the beginning of the deal all the way until the end, I feel like it's so important to communicate with your customer success manager, sharing thoughts, sharing insights, just seeing how that partner could potentially use the platform, getting that information, because then that helps with the conversations that you're having to get them to come over. So communication would be most important, critical sit between sales and customer success.
Absolutely. Communication is key. Now, can you share an example of a handoff that didn't go that well and what was learned from it?
I try to ensure that all of my handoffs go well, but one instance that does come to mind is we had an issue with training. So, normally when you're implementing training or implementing a new partner and there's certain requirements for training, but sometimes that can also interfere with like budget. And if you don't communicate that with CS and say like, hey, they didn't have the budget, so we took off one training, but we're going to have to work to still implement them or onboard them fully. That communicating that piece was definitely detrimental to the account. And so we were able to recuperate by offering them a free training instead, just to make sure that they had the information they needed to be able to scale. That definitely was a learning experience. It's better to just have all the cards on the table, explain everything to CS from the very beginning so you guys can come up with a collaborative plan to ensure that the partner is successful and implementation and onboarding goes successful as well.
Absolutely. I think one of the reasons why Pat and I had initially wanted someone from sales to come on and talk with us is because when I think about like my day-to-day in customer success and just all of the interaction we have with our sales team, that connection and that cross-functional collaboration can make or break so much of the work that we do. It's so important day to day to have, like you said, La-Toya, that communication. So when you think about one thing that helps you really stay aligned, not like from one deal to the next, but just in general, one thing that really helps you stay aligned with customer success kind of post sales.
Regular check-ins, constant Slack messages. We have a standing cadence meeting where I meet with most of my customer success managers weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how many accounts that we share. But without those regular check-ins, I doubt that I would be able to be as successful as I've been in the last couple of years. Keeping the lines of communication open with CS helps to address so many issues. You can proactively strategize with them, really get good insight because again, you're meeting with the clients regularly. So all the insight that you're getting, that's valuable information that when I'm having renewal conversations or when I'm showing them product updates or sharing webinars, I can target the needs that they're mentioning to you on a regular basis. It's more of a cyclical process of communication versus us working in silos and having multiple separate conversations with the same partner. So meeting with CS on a regular basis, having an outline of what's discussed, that's going to be consistent across my messaging today.
It's the core foundation of that relationship, and that's how you build the strategy with your sales counterparts or with your customer success counterparts. Something that I think has been really helpful is seeing opportunities where that strong collaboration and the communication that you named has helped either like land an account or expand an account. Can you think of a time when that has happened for you personally or for your team?
Absolutely. It actually happens all the time. I literally contribute so much of my success to my customer success managers because again, they have so much insight, so much valuable insight. But one situation that I could think of particularly is my partner was speaking with customer success and just sharing some of the challenges that she was having with professional development. And that was a perfect plug for customer success to share that information with me. And then that essentially ended up to be an upsell or an expansion for that particular partner. If I didn't have good communication with my customer success manager, that information would have been just lost or, jotted down in notes and taken, of course, into consideration. But it's my job as the AM or in the sales department to make sure that I'm providing her with the resources that she needs to be successful in her district. So that was a perfect opportunity, perfect alignment with information that was received by customer success, then transferred to me. And then I was able to then use that information to expand the account and provide them with the resources that I know that we have that would be beneficial for their district.
It's really great hearing that through line, La-Toya, on how communication is key, checking in, and just truly working as a team. I really appreciate you sharing those reflections. And we have a couple of more questions, and these are more like fast takes that we want to ask you and get your thoughts on.
Let's go.
So what's one thing sales should never do in that initial handoff between sales going over to success?
Leave out any information. It's best to share every nuanced detail, all the little intricacies that you think are not important, share it with customer success. It makes the implementation and onboarding process just a lot smoother.
La-Toya, what I'm hearing you say, you said earlier, like putting all the information on the table, even if you think you're over communicating, right? Mm-hmm. Like put all the information out there and the customer success manager can like take what they need, but you got to give it to them, right? If they don't have it, they can't act on it.
Because sometimes sales, we tend to do what needs to be done to close the deal. But keeping that in mind, you have to be transparent and let customer success know whatever you had to do in order to make sure that it turns into a sustainable long-term relationship and not just something that happens just for this 1 year or just over the course of 12 months.
All right, next question. What's one thing customer success should do more of?
I'm going to say same thing. Share information, proactively share insights, because then when we have to have our conversations or our checkpoints or check-ins, now we have a more comprehensive picture, and then we can really align on goals, ensuring that we're on the right track for renewals and everything is in place. So I think it goes both ways. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say proactively share insights that you gain from having your regular conversations with a partner.
All right, La-Toya, our last fast take question for you. What's one wish you have for improving collaboration moving forward between sales and customer success?
So I think when I do give this response, my team is probably going to be like, no, we don't need any more meetings. But I think that more joint strategy sessions between sales and CS would definitely be something that I would improve or continue to do. I find it to be so beneficial because then we can align on goals. We're making sure that everything that we're hearing, we're both hearing it at the same time. We can align on everything that needs to be done. And we know what role CS plays, what role sales play. So we just know how to collaborate and communicate on a more efficient basis. So I would say more joint strategy sessions between the CS and sales.
I love that. And I know folks don't want more meetings on their calendar, and we can have a whole separate conversation about that. But I do believe that having more face-to-face strategic planning with your sales counterparts, customer success counterparts really helps in the long run. I mean, we actually just had a huge meeting with all of success and all of sales, which we rarely do. But in that meeting, I could see how helpful it is to hear what's going well between certain partnerships internally and being able to celebrate that.
I couldn't agree more. And I feel like sometimes we forget the roles and responsibilities that we each have. And so hearing it out and seeing like, look, partner success has over 100 accounts and this is what they're doing. And this is what they're required to do for each account. This is what AMs do, or this is what RSMs do. It just gives everyone a clear path forward on what's everyone's roles and responsibilities. Let's be mindful. Let's give people grace because no one's out here just not doing their job. No one wants to intentionally do a bad job. So let's look at what's going on, what they have on their table, and then we can make more informed decisions. So I love those joint sessions, honestly.
Everything you're saying, La-Toya, it really resonates for me as a leader in customer success, and hearing it from you makes me feel like that alignment really between sales and success just can't be, it's incomparable, right? Like the most amount of impact we can have together when we collaborate. I think we're gonna close out today with each of us sharing our top tip for cross-functional success. And I'm gonna start. I have two counterparts in sales out here. I'm in the West region. And lately we've had some like very long in-person touch points. So one of my colleagues and I, we were in person together for an event, and we woke up early and we went for a 5-mile walk on the beach. And in that conversation, we got so much work done. I think my top tip for cross-functionals with sales and success and customer success is really like, if you have an opportunity to be in person with your counterparts, it is so productive. The connections you continue to build, the relationships you continue to build. I just think that in-person touch point, it can really just take you really far.
I love that. And also super jealous that you guys took a 5-mile
Right?
walk on the beach.
I know. We were in Long Beach for an event, and we're both early risers, and we were like, let's just go hammer out some work and move our bodies and like see the sunrise on the ocean. It was like such an awesome experience. But we got so much work done.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that because like we're in Florida. Like we have beaches. Well, we could easily do that. 5 miles though, I don't know.
In the heat, it's April. It feels like it's summer already, but we will go to the beach soon.
Yes, I agree.
My tip is, on that note of in-person touch points and working together, I'd say spend some time talking through your working styles and just getting to know each other on a more personal level to make that partnership even stronger. And I say this because I've worked with sales counterparts at our company for many years, and it's amazing how even with so many years, I still learn a lot about them, and it just makes our collaboration way more effective. And so that is my tip.
I'm gonna agree with both of you, and I love the in-person. Any opportunity that I get to travel with my CS, I take it. You spend so much time at work, so you want to get to know the people that you work with, and it really does positively impact the relationship and how you work towards driving customer success. If you really believe in the mission of the company that you work for, then there's no reason not to build a relationship with the people that you have to work so closely with, and really understand each other's goals, understand the challenges, understand how you like to work. It makes such a big difference, huge difference in the work that you produce and then the impact that you have on the customers that you support. So that would be mine. I would say everything that you guys said, and I'm wrapping it up with just building a real genuine relationship with the people that you work with closely to support these accounts. It would definitely make a difference in the work that you produce and the partners that you serve.
Such great tips, especially when like La-Toya, what you said about no one's out here trying to like be their worst self at work. And it's so much easier to give grace, but also like give props when someone's showing growth and like really showing up. Like those are important pieces of the work, I think, too. So thanks for calling that out.
100%. Yeah. Of course. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all of our listeners who tuned in. We hope this conversation sparks some thoughts, ideas, and next steps on how you work collaboratively with your cross-functional counterparts.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.